I don't go around telling people who I am or anything. They know who I am. I'm a lawyer named George Leach. But several people know the other part of my life. Well, my day job is as primarily a criminal attorney, criminal defense attorney. And my night job, but it's not really a job, is this one, which is painting as an artist, and as this gallery, as the gallery owner too. Sometimes I end up representing accused persons of rape or murder, or and juveniles even. And so I represent some juveniles charged with very serious crimes as well, and some just charged with not going to school. And as a lawyer practicing in that area, I was very familiar with a lot of things that go on there, and the pains and what people go through the process of being involved in a juvenile justice system or domestic relations court. I'm honored to be on many of the courthouse walls. In the Common Pleas Court, my pieces hang, and the domestic relations and juvenile courts. Many don't even know it. Yesterday I was at a hearing, and one of the attorneys mentioned one of my pieces in the court, and another lawyer said, "Oh, I know that guy. He's a different George Leach, and he's a short guy with gray hair." And I'm standing next to the person, and it's just because I'm there in a suit, and nobody would think that you're the guy that's painting these paintings that are around, that show powerful moments or places in time.
I love it. It's passionate, and it reflects children. At least the pieces in my courtroom reflect children in somewhat of their natural state. This piece over here with the little boy holding the please sign in particular, I think it reflects a plea for kindness and for patience and for justice, and those are all things that people come to this court to obtain. And I think that looking out at my bench and being able to see that, it reminds me of those things.
This is an awesome piece of work that was done obviously with some great thought about the truth of human trafficking. We have a special court for human trafficking victims called Catch Court. How I use it is once a woman gets to a certain point where she starts to realize what happens to her, what had happened to her, and how vulnerable our women and girls are in Columbus, we can use this painting to actually describe the various phases that she's been through in her life, from when she was a young girl to when her innocence was lost. The painter, Mr. Leach, used these red scarves to indicate blood. But yet she still has, she's holding up her hopes and dreams of, and that's what the butterfly represents, is that hope of, a better life and healing, and then a freedom from obvious slavery.
You know, in law, you have to be creative too. You're creative. If you're a trial attorney, you're listening, you have to respond the moment you hear it. And, and like art, you're creative, and you're trying to generate these colors to transfer onto this. In front of a jury, you're listening to everything that's said, and then you're going back at the person who just said it, if you're cross-examining them, and bouncing back what they just told you, but with your angle and your question to fit what you think the jury needs to know. And so you have to be as creative in law as you do in art. And sometimes it ends up being kind of artistic. And some lawyers are pretty animated in court as well. And so that's acting. It's a form of art. I mean, they're conveying to the jury, their emotions and their power, their enthusiasm for the truth here, or their client's version of it. And I think that comes across in trials when you do them. And it wins cases sometimes.